Rise Gold owns all the mineral rights of the historic Idaho Maryland Mine. The mineral rights are private land and have been severed from the surface land at a depth of approximately 200 feet below surface. Rise also owns 175 acres of industrial zone surface land, the Brunswick site and the Centennial site. A prominent outcrop of massive white quartz was discovered during the gold rush in 1851 on the Eureka claim. The quartz contained only low amounts of gold at surface, and the true potential was not recognized until exploration by shaft sinking reached 100 feet below surface. In the time of the gold rush, smaller mining claims were owned by individual prospectors. Before the Eureka vein crossed into the adjacent Idaho claim, it had produced 275,000 ounces of gold with an estimated mill head grade averaging 1.6 ounces per ton gold from an area of the vein only measuring 1,000 feet in strike length by 450 feet down dip. Mining of the Eureka vein was taken over by the Coleman brothers, who owned the Idaho mine claims. The Idaho portion of the vein proved to be extremely rich, and by 1892, the Idaho mine was considered to be one of the richest and deepest gold mines in the world. The Idaho mine was sold to Sam Dorsey in 1894 when the vein entered his adjacent Maryland claim. Limited capital and a series of misfortunes led to the closure of the mine in 1901. The extraordinary continuity and grade allowed the Eureka Idaho Maryland vein to reach a total production by 1901 of 935,000 ounces of gold at an average head grade of 1.1 ounces per ton gold. A group led by Harry Payne Whitney purchased and reopened the mine and then later sold it to Errol McBoyle. McBoyle discovered the Idaho No. 3 vein in 1928. The Idaho No. 3 vein was extremely rich, with the main part of the chute grading several ounces per ton, and produced 686,000 ounces of gold at an average mill head grade of 0.6 ounces per ton gold. Total production to date from the Idaho veins is 1,621,000 ounces of gold at an average mill head grade of 0.83 ounces per ton gold, or 28 grams per ton. The income from the 3 vein allowed continual expansion in production and land holdings. In 1936, McBoyle purchased the adjacent Brunswick mine, where numerous new veins were discovered and put into production. The Brunswick mine produced a total of 793,000 ounces of gold at an average mill head grade of 0.27 ounces per ton gold. By 1939, the Idaho Maryland was the largest producing low gold mine in California and the second in the United States. In the 2 years before its forced closure, in 1940 and 1941, mine production averaged 920 tons per day and 121,000 ounces of gold production per year. In 1942, the mine had just completed a major expansion to increase production to 2,000 tons per day, and the main shaft had reached a depth of 3,400 feet, with plans to sink the shaft to a depth of 5,000 feet below surface. New discoveries were made after the mine was allowed to reopen after the war, but a diminished treasury, the fixed price of gold at $35 per ounce, and high cost inflation led to the end of gold mining at the Idaho Maryland in 1955. Jack Clark was the underground superintendent when the mine closed in 1956.
Started working at the Idaho Maryland Mine on January 9th, 1941, and I worked there for nearly 13 years altogether. We had a hard time after the war, as opposed to prior to the war, because we had lost so much of the good ground in the Idaho Maryland. So after the war, they had to mine in down 30 winds and down to 3280 later on. There's a lot of quartz down there, and there would be a lot of money, but it's going to take a little money to recapture some of that down in that location. I'm a firm believer that there's a lot of gold down there. I would like to see the mine open again. It's a real clean operation, as opposed to what you hear and read in the newspaper.
More information is on our website and in the numerous technical reports submitted as part of the application.